Hi, everyone. Let's wait for people to join. In the meanwhile, Ben, what is your favorite pizza? Pizza toppings or pizza place, whatever you choose to answer.
Difficult questions. Difficult question. I need to think about it because I think I'm more like in the exotic toppings.
Exotic? Like
exotic ones.
What like pineapple?
It depends on the day, to be honest. It can be a plain pizza on some like...
Yeah, you're okay with a plain pizza?
Of course. If it's good pizza, you should eat it plain. But if it's a funky pizza, you should eat funky, you know. Pineapple. Feta cheese. Some spices, you know, like green peppers or something.
I love the cheese crust pizza. Guys, don't worry. We're going to talk about cybersecurity.
And pizzas are more important than cybersecurity.
Okay, so I think we can start.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm Amit Chita, field CTO at Mend.io. With me, Ben. He is our king of DevOps and security, knows everything. And we're going to talk about a super important topic, especially for 2026, which is malicious packages and malicious malware campaigns going through dependencies. I don't know if you heard about it. Feel comfortable to write us questions and comments in the chat. We will address them only at the end. Yeah, I think we can begin. So let's dive into the first question, Ben. What is a malicious dependency? I'll describe it. Let me know if there's something you want to add. So we have open source code, right? We have libraries, packages that people wrote, uploaded online for everyone to use. Now, hackers actually take that and put some malicious code that can execute their own virus, Trojan, whatever, to take over my machine. And then I think, oh, it's just a nice code that someone gave me to, I don't know, extract a zip file or something. I want to use it in my code. What?
Or order pizzas.
Order pizzas, right. Of course. So this is a malicious packages. This is out there. It's like taking something we trust and put in there a malware. So what are the risks?
So you have the usual risk. Like the first one is, of course, like stealing your secrets, your private data. It can be remote code execution. They can take and use your machine for botnets, for crypto miners, for everything they want. Obviously, they can delete your data, like ransomwares, that when they encrypt your data.
This is terrible, right? Don't delete other people's data, but also don't steal the keys and take over their production.
I'm not sure what
it's not cool. Yeah, it's not cool. Yeah, so you said there's ransomware, right? There's a lot of ransomwares in recent years on hospitals, right? So now it's another way of attack to begin ransomwares. But today, we're going to also dive into what changed in 2025, which is like malicious packages began also to spread themselves and to infect other malicious packages, right? This is crazy. And
you always had worms and self-propagating viruses.
Yeah. But I think it never been, I don't know, to my knowledge, it's never happened in dependencies where a malicious dependency infected another malicious dependency. But yes, it's always been, right, in a computer infecting a computer. So what are the risks, or where are the risks, actually? So, which machines are usually getting infected?
So you can think about where you install the packages, where do you use them. So first one, obviously, is when you develop your code in your machine, you test it, you install packages. You should have governance on what you install and what you don't install, but it can start in your machine, all of your data, your secrets, your user credentials.
Today, even I don't have control over it, right? Because I ask Claude Code to install something, it will go over, install whatever it wants, and I'm kind of screwed.
And you shouldn't use the YOLO mode. You should observe it and see what it makes and what it installs. But obviously, you develop the code in your machine, then you finish, you test it, you push it to your your source control management, for example, GitHub. You push it there. So then, when you push your code, some events are getting triggered, and CI/CD runs, tests, builds, push it to development environments. So CI/CD runners.
Yeah, and this is something that actually no one protects CI/CD runners, right? Or it's not a common thing to protect your CI/CD because you never think someone will attack your CI/CD. So it's kind of an unexpected attack surface. But it can also happen to my production, right? So if I have a malicious package in production, so it will gain all my production secrets and everything.
Exactly.
Which of these you think it's the most like dangerous one?
It depends. It depends on what your application does, how you protect each environment, if it's your machine and you have antiviruses, or if you have runners that are ephemerals, or the secrets are, really, really broad access. And production, obviously, it's scary thing.
Yeah. So production is the most scary, but usually don't really protect the CI/CD. So CI/CD a lot of times is like wider attack surface. Okay, so I wanted us to dive deeper into the kinds of malicious packages out there, right? Because they come in different forms. Like the first form is that there's a maintainer, right, of a library that is just malicious, right? Is a bad actor. He or she are trying to change the code and gain access for some reason. It can happen also because it's just someone, let's say I seen like a famous library and I'm a hacker, I wanna take over that library, so I pretend to be a nice maintainer and I add commits and then people start to trust me, right? I build trust.
And then you go to the dark side.
And then they go to the dark side and they add one commit to the repo with a malicious code. People don't review it well enough. If they review it at all, maybe the person is very trusted, so they don't need a review. And it's committed, and everyone who's updating is screwed. But there's also another option, right, is that you just steal the credentials of an existing maintainer. So, like, how does it usually happen? How do you steal credentials?
So there are the usual credential stealing topics, like ways. You can say phishing, where an attacker sends an email to a maintainer. It's not really npm.js, it's something else. It goes there, it tries to log in, and they steal their credentials. Obviously, if you put a sticky note on your machine, on your laptop with the secrets, you shouldn't do it, guys. So they can steal it if you publish it online or something.
Don't do it. Don't trust the person that sits next to you, right? On the desk next to you, they might steal your password. Don't put a sticker. But actually, some people say that putting a sticker is safer than writing it in a file.
Depends which file and which sticker.
Yes, exactly. And who's your roommate, right?
Indeed.
And then there's just packages that were, from the beginning, intended to be malicious. So let's say I'm a hacker, and I want to attack people. I want to hack people and in a wide scale. So I will choose to create my own library that I will think people will try to install. Maybe it's a clone of an existing library with a very similar name. And I'll just put there a piece of code that will execute my virus whenever someone installs it or runs it. Also, there's something called, I hope I'm going to say it right, I think slope squatting. Have you heard of this concept?
I heard about typo squatting.
Yeah, so it's like typo squatting, but for AI. So let's say there's like ChatGPT, and I predict that, like I use ChatGPT, and I learned that ChatGPT, when I ask it about libraries, it sometimes do a mistake in the name of a public library. And then I just publish my own library with that mistaken name, because I expect that a lot of people that use AI agents will make this mistake and will install the wrong library because they're mistaking the name, maybe one character, maybe the format a bit different. And then they will get my virus library.
So it can happen to humans too. It's what you described is like typo squatting, where you have the usual typos you make when you send a message, and they use it, like they take advantage of the LLM mistakes, they take advantage of the human mistakes. So it's pretty much the same, yeah, just for AI.
Yeah, I personally believe that humans and LLMs are very similar, also in their mistakes, but this is like a
different webinar.
Different webinar. Okay, so I wanted us to look at highlights from 2025. So we had a lot of malicious packages, of course, in 2025, and a lot of campaigns, but there were three major ones that I wanted us to focus on. The first is the singularity attack, that it was like a breach on the NX build system of NPM.
They took advantage of a GitHub vulnerability, and they took advantage of took control of the repository and the package, and they installed a malicious code inside. And
the community figured it out pretty fast, right? Like 2 or 4 hours, that was the amount of times until like people detected it and started to work on fixes and to block it. And we can see here that the trend was pretty bad for us, the defenders, right? Because then there was I hope I say it right, Shawan Hulud, because it's debated, Shawan, I don't know. It's just like 2 weeks later.
You know, a fun fact about it. Yeah. They used the reference from Dune about the worm, the Shai Hulud worm. And there is a joke from like the cybersecurity, then they say Shawan, because it's like a cryptography.
Yeah, of course. Algorithm. Guys, after this webinar, go watch Doom.
I didn't watch it.
Dune,
yeah. I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No.
Okay, I watched it. It was great.
I will watch it. With the pizza.
With the pizza. Get yourself some pizza also. So one day after Shai Hulud was detected, people started to block it. And from information that we have inside the company, we checked, and we seen that only 1% of the companies were affected, which is a huge change, because then, around a month later, came like the second wave, which affected like 13% of the organization.
And big ones.
And big ones, right? This is a huge change. We're going to try later to dive deep to see why it happened. But I think one of the things that happened is like the community, it took a lot of time to discover this.
Around 4 days, 2 days.
Yeah.
2 to 4 days.
And this is something like pretty crazy, because it's like 3 days of packages spreading each other, commits being sent, attackers like had a free playground. But I think relatively it's still a good situation for the community compared to what it could have been. What do you think?
I think it's a big one, and we'll see what will happen the next year.
Let's dive into it then.
But we need to see why it was so strong compared to the first one.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So this is the path of the, like what happened in the second attack. It's kind of like a flow chart, starting from the moment someone hit npm install with an infected library. So like the whole attack happened in the Node ecosystem, right?
Indeed, yeah.
So the moment I did npm install, did it just like, what happened? Did it just span a process or?
So when you install a package, you have hooks, like the pre-install hook and the post-install hook. We'll talk about the differences between two the attacks, because one used the post-install and the second one used the pre-install. So when you install the npm package, it will run a process before you install the package. So it can be any JavaScript code or ban in this case.
So ban is another package manager for JavaScript?
I think so, not sure.
Yeah, so like it's...
I don't think it's package manager, but it's a different...
Maybe a build system or...
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, they span a new process as part of this pre-install script, and then this flow starts, right? Like, yeah. And the first thing they do is just check the environment variables. I guess they were hoping it will run in a CI/CD, right? Because in the CI/CD, you'll have the environment variables set already with the keys. Then I see here, like, they created a repo. They created a GitHub repo.
So they used the GitHub experience, we can say. They used GitHub to host all of and share all of the secrets that they got compromised. So when they found secrets, when they compromised the machine, they were searching for secrets, right? So one of them, it was a GitHub token, where they can use this token and publish the secrets to a repo, to a public repo on GitHub. And it made it more reliable, because if you have any antivirus on machine and you go to some place that it's not whitelisted on your machine, it will get blocked. So obviously, if you're a developer, I'm pretty sure github.com is whitelisted on your list.
Yeah, so everyone trusts GitHub, so they see traffic to GitHub. It's like, okay, the attackers they're like, oh, okay, great, we'll just like create a GitHub repo. Was it public to everyone?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And it was, like, you can say a better version, because in the first one, they used GitHub and another webhook service, which got blocked.
This was the first wave? Like, yes. They also had a webhook?
Indeed. They will push it to GitHub and back up to some webhook service, which got blocked, and then the process got terminated by the antivirus or anything else.
Amazing. So, like, they figured it out. They upgraded the code, assuming these are the same people. And... okay, they created a GitHub. They also did something called token recycling.
Indeed. So we said that they use your GitHub token to publish the secrets to a public repo, right? So if they don't find the token, now what they do with the secrets? So they will go to GitHub, they will search for the latest repo that got compromised with the GitHub token published there. And they will use this token to publish the secret. So for example, if I got compromised and I have a public repository with my GitHub token and then you got compromised, they won't find any token in your machine because you are a secure developer, more secure than me. So they will go to GitHub, use my token, and publish your secrets under my user.
Got it. All my secrets will go under your username, and then like later, can they tell which computer it came from, or like?
No, just.
Okay, they just mix it and mash it together.
Indeed.
Interesting. And like, okay, and then they like put a backdoor, and like, how did they put on the runners, on the GitHub runners?
So they attacked, obviously, developer machines, but also CI/CD runners. And we talked about whitelisting, like host names. Now it's whitelisting processes. So in a GitHub runner, obviously, we'll have a GitHub runner process, right, that you register to a repository, and then you can use this machine to run your CI/CD pipelines. So they installed another process in this runner if they found that it's a runner using, I think, environment variables that can be found.
I guess it's pretty easy
to
figure
it's
it
pretty
out.
easy. And then they will install a GitHub runner process, like the official GitHub runner binary, and they will register to this public repo as a runner. It was called like SHA-1 Hulud runner. And then with this token, they published a discussion.yaml workflow, like a CI/CD pipeline, which the event was when you create a discussion in this repository, it will take the comment of this like the comment you publish on the discussion, and will run this code inside of the runner.
So let me check that I understood it correctly. So they left a backdoor for themselves to come later, so they can create a comment or discussion on GitHub, put their command, terminal command or
Hello
something
world.
like that, and it will just run it,
Indeed.
execute it.
Yeah.
Got it. So they actually planned for them later attacking the same machine. So I guess they didn't plan on people finding out about the attack or like not removing it correctly, which is super interesting. They also put a backdoor for Azure, right?
It wasn't the backdoor, it was a privilege escalation that used Azure DevOps, because we talked really like a lot about GitHub runners. In Azure DevOps, you also have runners and CI/CD pipelines, obviously. So there they used, when they couldn't use any, because I think you have more like policies and hardening on those runners, not sure. But they used privilege escalation with Docker. So if they found out they can't run any sudo commands, so they spun up a privileged Docker container with the -- privilege flag and mounted it into the file system. And then they could disable firewalls and other stuff on the machine to get out of the runner and send requests to other places.
So I think it's important to note to the audience, right, that this flowchart is a very simplified version, and the attack, it was like tons of lines of code, tons of logic with fallbacks, mechanisms, and things like that. How big was it?
It was 10 megabytes of compiled binary code.
So after they compiled
Yes.
or compressed or bundled the code, right, like 10 megabytes, which is tons of text. So they did all of this. They put a backdoor, and then obviously they started to look for secrets.
Yep.
This is something kind of crazy, because one of the mechanisms they use for secrets is, understand, Trufflehog, which is an open source by a cybersecurity company. So they actually used code meant for defenders as part of their malware, because it's really good at finding secrets on the machine, so they just used it, which shows that sometimes a security company also can cause harm because it's open source. It's like...
Yes, you have the famous story about the Tor browser, which invented the darknet, we can say.
Yeah, so like it's very debated, right? Because like open source like that help us defenders find our secrets, but it then helps the attackers as well.
Yeah.
So did you give more value to the attackers, to the defense people? But it's something interesting to note.
And Trufflehog specifically that you can take advantage of, like in your CI/CD pipelines. If a developer pushes code or secrets in plain text, you should maybe use Trufflehog to scan it before he pushes it and delete it from the repository. But yeah, they used Trafelog to scan after they compromised the machine and did the backdoor. They scanned for secrets. They started with secret harvesting, and they first scanned all of your home directory with Trafelog, which searches for everything.
How much time, how much time does it take? Or
depending on your machine, if you have a lot of files or small files, or like small size of home directory, but they scan for everything, private keys, secrets. You also have a flag in Trafelog where you can actually verify the secrets if they are valid, to not waste time for the hackers, but they didn't use it, I think.
Do you know if it kept the process up? So like they span a new process, right? So like if the whatever the CI/CD was trying to do finished before the malware finished?
So in this case, it was the pre-install hook. If it was the post-install, it was after you install the package. So if, for example, your machine, it was the last library which you install, and you finished installing it, and then the post-install started, but the machine turned off because the CI/CD pipeline finished. So in this case, it was the post-install, so it waited for the malicious code to run, before keeping and continuing the pipeline.
So they actually, okay, so like the second wave was the pre-install like script.
Yep.
And that gained them more time of execution.
Indeed.
Because then they have all the NPM install time also to wait, which we all know NPM install takes time in like a large projects. Amazing, so like they took all these secrets, they automatically published it to a repo they found.
Yes. They used Trafelog to find any secrets.
Yeah.
I heard about a story that someone that got compromised, they simulated and ran Trafelog. After they realized they got compromised, they wanted to know which secrets to rotate. So they ran it on Trafelog on their home directory, and they found some keys of crypto miners. So the attackers helped them to find out that they have crypto miners on their machine.
Wait, so they found crypto miners on their employees' machine in the company.
Yeah.
And these crypto miners were there before the attack even?
Indeed. I don't think that the attack involved crypto miners.
Yeah. So, okay, that's crazy. So like actually trying to go back and find out what the attacker did, found even more malicious stuff, right? So actually, guys, scan your code for secrets.
Yeah, it shows the power of those open source tools like Trafelog.
Yeah, so it helps like both sides.
Indeed. So they continued with obviously the GitHub tokens and NPM token that we'll talk about in a second, and also like cloud provider secrets. So Azure, AWS, GCP, they will search for your machine for either files like the .aws directory or any environment variables. They will find those keys for cloud providers, and then they will scan your secret managers in your cloud provider for more secrets. So
that's super scary because, I don't know, in CI/CD machines at least, no one is like, separating things. You have there all the keys, it's in the environment variables, it's like out there in the machine.
It's easiest to take keys, put them in your org secrets for all the repositories to take with admin rights because it's simpler, and then it have permissions to take your secrets from your secret manager, and they will use it too to publish it then into GitHub.
Well, that's how it worked so well, right? Think that in like 3 days, 13% of organizations. That's crazy speed. Okay, so they did all of that, and then they infected a new library. So if they found out that you are a maintainer of a library and you have access, they just infected a new library.
They will take
the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it just shut down. What did you do? The process kept running, or?
So it will find an NPM token on a machine. It will search, if you're a maintainer, it will search for all of the packages that you maintain and will infect it with this malicious code. But if it can't do any of these, and it can go out due to network policies or anything, it will just, I think we talked about it, it will just delete all of your home directory.
Yeah, cool.
Very cool.
But it's also cool to take all your password and to take over your production and user passwords and credit cards.
But they were nice. They didn't do both. It's either one of them.
I wonder why they wanted to delete it, but something to think about. What do we see here?
So here you see, if you search, they published the repository with description called SHA-1 Hulu, the second coming. They use one this time. They used the joke. I don't know if it's the same people, but they like the joke of SHA-1. So if you search in the time...
So they literally wrote the name of the attack as the repo, and they didn't try to hide it or...
Indeed, it was the description, and you can search for GitHub. You in the time where the attack happened, you could search for this description and find 10,000s of repositories.
Today, this was removed already.
Indeed, and it took time. It took time.
It took time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, people's password were just there in this repo. I think we have more screenshots here. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first folder is the .github workflows, where you store your GitHub workflows. There was the discussion YAML we talked about, the vector they kept. And the second one is the action secrets.json. It's all of the secrets that, if it was a CI/CD pipeline, they can take all of the secrets that the CI/CD pipeline can have. They publish it using they took it, they put it inside JSON format, and base64 encoded it. Sometimes it once, twice, or even 3 times. Second one is the cloud JSON.
They base64 it.
Yeah.
A few times.
A few times.
It sounds like a bug, right?
I don't know. You should debug their code.
It might be a way to evade certain things, but also it sounds maybe they just had a bug because they reinfected a library, a GitHub repo with more keys. Maybe that happened there. I don't know. And what do we see here? This is the actually base 64.
Yes, this is the content. If you will decode it a couple of times, you will see a JSON with all of the secrets plain text.
Just JSON with all the passwords.
Yeah.
Okay, so like anyone that got infected with such thing had to rotate everything, right? There's anyone on the internet could have downloaded it. Probably the attackers did, but
of course,
any other people that knew about it and read the articles. So let's dive a bit into the differences, because the fact that the second wave spreaded much more, it poses a question of what was the main difference to cause that, and we need to know that in order to know how to defend what we can do better. So I think I heard a few claims, right? There's the ban package manager or build system. So I think there's a lot of production systems, right? Security systems that are tailored for Node. They know how to figure out if a Node process is doing something malicious. But then when it's with not NPM and it's with a ban, they don't know how to detect it or to parse it, and then that was a way to evade these tools. Do you think that's the reason that they chose to use it or something else?
I don't know. I think they had many ways that it was better. About the ban, I'm not sure. I heard also many things. Maybe it's compiled differently, and the usual SAST antiviruses can detect it because it's unreadable.
Yeah, because it's not plain text like JavaScript.
Yes, indeed. You need to reverse engineer it to see what's happening there.
Also, there's the pre-install script, right? It gave them both more time to run. Also, something about this attack that I want to talk about. So if you run npm install, a lot of security scanners, people run them after they run npm install. But the moment you ran npm install, your computer is already been hijacked. Am I correct? So let's say I have a security tool. And the security tool, I want to do npm install and then run the security tool. So it is kind of too late, right? So because the moment I did npm install, that's it. It's gonna run. It's executed.
You'll have the time to control C it and cancel it when it installs. But in the pre-install hook, it will happen before you install it.
Yeah.
I think it will download it to your RAM, don't even to your disk, and will execute it. But it made it really, really better than the post-install.
Okay. By the way, if you guys have questions about it, feel comfortable sending these questions in the chat. And I know we don't take them right now, but in the end we'll take them. Okay, so there's the pre-install, there's the ban. There's also improved some other stuff, right? I think there was something about the token, how does it call? Refreshments? Recycling.
Yeah.
The token recycling, that was a new thing. And I guess this is a major one because it means that even if you don't have credentials to GitHub,
someone else's mistake will make you share your secrets publicly.
Yeah. Which of these you think was most important for this being spreaded?
between
like so much, like in the second wave. Like which of these differences would you say is like the most significant?
There's also the saying where the entry point was really, really popular libraries.
Got it. Okay, so they just hit a really strong library.
Catch the big wave, we can say.
Yep, and they caught that wave, infected a lot of libraries. I think in the second wave, there were like 1,000 or hundreds of libraries that were infected, which is crazy.
And big ones, really big ones.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's move on. What people can actually do about it? So, let's talk about how to prepare for the next attack. I think the first and obvious recommendation is to freeze library versions. So let's say I have, even when you do things like pip install and stuff like that, you can choose either a wildcard library version to take always the latest version or something like that.
There's many ways. You can do like the equal when it's freezes it.
Yeah.
And you can use like the tilde equals when it, the major, not breaking the major version, for example. Yeah. And you have the bigger equals, then they take like the latest always.
So not to use the wildcards, right? So freeze your version, choose a version. If you update a version, do it wisely, choose the next version. Don't like let your code run a wildcard, because then when there's like a malicious package campaign like that, and you just rerun your CI/CD, it installs a new version you didn't know about. This version is malicious.
Let it age. We can say let it age because you saw it happened like after you detected that they detected it after 2 or 3 days. Yeah. So if you take a package and you don't download it or install it until like 1 week, 1 month, let it mature.
Exactly. That's a super important point because a lot of people have tools that automatically update dependencies, like Dependabot or Renovate. So you need to make sure that you can set it up to not update a dependency that has been released
if it's underage.
Hour ago, yeah. Right? You want it like to update only if a few days has passed, and you need to choose this number. Like from these attacks, we see that at least 3 days, right? So maybe a week, maybe like 4 days, and also it depends if it's just an update or a security update. Sometimes you have to update fast. But it's something to notice about. What else can we do? So secret management, what would you recommend?
So if you're talking about users and like end machines, so we can say don't give everyone admin in your infrastructure, for example. You also have like the not using keys or using SSO, using OIDC, not just saving like permanent or temporary keys that can be harvested. You also have protocols just for this.
Well, it's better if it's temporary, right? Because if I had temporary keys like in this GitHub,
but they used it too.
How temporary.
For example, in the when you got compromised, they will search for GitHub tokens, right? Mm-hmm. And if you are really secured and you don't use permanent tokens and you use GitHub CLI creates a temporary token, like the GHO token, I think. So it's valid for, let's say, 1 hour. Mm-hmm. So in this hour, they could use it and publish secrets to your repository.
And that's why they added a lot of code within the attack that is using the keys right away, instead of waiting for them later to steal the keys from GitHub and try to use them then.
Indeed.
And also they got them the protection that the traffic comes from an IP that is trusted. Other things you can do, OIDC versus keys. Can you say a bit about it?
Yeah, so you can, if you want to authenticate to AWS in your CI/CD pipelines, let's say, so you can create keys for a user, service user, put it in your repo secrets, and use them as a secrets. And in this attack, it could get stolen. So there are, in many tools, almost all of them, you have the OIDC protocol, where you can just set it up in your AWS or cloud provider, and you can say, just those repositories in those organizations, or even in this branch or in this workflow flow, I can use this user, and it will just generate a temporary token, I think, a JWT token.
Got it.
To authenticate.
Temporary tokens are the way to go. So ephemeral runners is also a good way, right? It's an environment that is disconnected. You still have the secrets there, no?
Indeed, but if we talk about the backdoor that they left, for example, if we have a runner in one of your repositories that you don't care about this repo because it's not a really, really big one, so you use the same runner, for example, that it's on forever, and this repo got compromised, and then they left the backdoor, a GitHub that runs on this runner, and the next run will be on an important repository.
So this is a protection against the backdoors, right? Ephemeral runners make sure everything is temporary. It's for everyone who doesn't know, ephemeral environment is an environment that is spun off only for this CI/CD run, and is temporary and dies after.
It will delete and terminate. You can use like VMs or even containers that are really, really simple controllers that will just put all of your jobs in containers.
Super important. It's a bit hard to set up, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think people will go that way also for AI because it has a lot of benefits for AI agents. So definitely recommend ephemeral runners. Now, also, a really big recommendation and plan ahead is to scan, right? To have scanning and detection mechanisms in place in your like production, in your registries, right? In the IDEs even for your coding agents, at your endpoints to find malicious packages.
If you talk about IDEs, until now we talked about shifting left, right? And scanning the code before it reaches production. So until now it was the SCM experience, the GitHub experience, where you push your code and then you will detect the vulnerabilities and fix them before you push it to an environment, a production environment. So we think we should shift left and, check it, because now in this attack, that a developer could install any package and get his machine compromised.
So like this attack, actually, it's like, it involves not only CI/CD security or cloud security, but also endpoint security, right? Because it affects your developer endpoints, and it affects your CI/CD and your production. So like it's the whole stack. So it's a shift left to the shift left. Also, I thought like that some people scan for security in the IDE itself, but now there's mechanisms to let your coding agents scan things for you. So for example, if you have like a coding agent that has tools, you can give the agent a tool to scan for malicious packages.
Before it installs them.
Before it installs. So for example, I let my coding agents, Claude Code, tell it, Claude Code, can you develop this feature? Claude Code figured out it needs React in a certain version. And the first thing Claude Code will do is like to check with the tool, hey, is this library at this version safe? It will get yes, no, maybe something more complicated, maybe a recommendation to what version is safe. And then it will know what version to install. Actually, it solves another problem that a lot of times coding agents are actually installing dated libraries, right? Old libraries. And because they don't really update it about what's happening in the world in real time. This is another way to solve this. Of course, classic things as well, like antivirus and stuff like that. So I've been infected now. I found out about it. I don't know how GitHub, my scanners found out about it. What should I do?
So obviously you need to get a visualization of where you got infected, okay?
You gotta see it. You gotta see it first.
Indeed. Yeah. So using your MDM, or like it can be the host. Let's start with the host, all of your employees who got infected. And then you have the packages that you have. So you need to create an SBOM of what packages do you have and which one are malicious. Because if you even didn't get affected or got infected, and you have it in some project, someone else can install it and get infected. So
it depends if I had a tool before or not, right? If I had a tool before, I'll just go to all my tools and look for it, search for it. If I found it anywhere or got notification everywhere, okay, I know these are the impacted machines. But if not, you say I have to run some tool, right? Go and run some tool on all my environment. It will take some time, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, like afterwards, what should someone do?
So we need to obviously clean them. You need to get them uninfected if they have the backdoor or anything.
Wipe the machine. How do you clean?
It depends on the attack. But for example, in SHA-1 Hulud 2, you can remove the discussion YAML, remove the runner process, remove the public repositories that got published.
So you have to go to understand what you need to remove, right? So you need to find some information online. It's not that simple. I need to figure out the information, find what files were infected, where are the backdoors, and then remove these, either that or wiping the machine. I need also maybe that's the next step, but to rotate the keys, right?
You need to find out which keys got published. So you need to take like the worst case, I don't know, run Trafelog on a machine in this case and find all of the secrets that could be exposed.
Are there scripts for that?
When that, like a famous attack like those ones got published, obviously we'll see some projects that people created for detecting it or remediating it.
The community, the community helps.
But it should be reliable. You can trust on the community.
Make sure that the community library or script that you use is not a malware itself. Maybe the next wave of attacks, the attackers will also publish the fixing script. They're learning. Really cool. Maybe they're learning from this webinar. So hopefully not.
But even if it's not malicious, it needs to be reliable. You can trust and okay, my company is secured now because some tool that I found in repository in GitHub with I don't know 10 stars said that this will clean my machines.
Yeah. So we got the keys, we rotate them, and then we start to think about the next time and how we prepare to the next time. Hopefully, you get to this stage already when you're prepared. It sounds horrible if you have a lot of machines that you need to do this process, and it sounds like something that can shut down an organization for a few days, maybe even more. So I want us to sum up with some recommendations for 2026. So the first thing is, guys, treat malicious packages as critical issues.
10.0 critical severity.
11. If there was a CVSS 11, make sure you have the right processes in place, the right tools in place. Don't get to a situation when there's an attack like that and it's the first time that you're thinking about this. So it's super important to put some thought into it, some internal policy on what to do in such scenario. Work with the vendors that can help you detect the malicious packages before the community knows about it.
Yeah, not only from public databases that say those packages are vulnerable because it's too late.
Yeah. So just to make sure that people understand, when there's an event like that and it's big, everyone knows about it, and there's articles about it online, and there's a different list of malicious packages, and the package managers themselves block it. But if it's a small attack, or even before, if you want to catch it a few days before, some vendors, they have automated tools to check malicious packages. So make sure that you have tools like this.
I can think about the perfect scenario. You said about rules or tools for your IDE, for your coding agent, that we will develop, because now everyone is developing with code agents.
Yeah.
I hope so. And it will install a package. It will search for your security tool if the package is vulnerable or not. But not only from public databases, from unknown or just scanning the code.
Yeah. You need some software to test it, You need some software to go over the code of the library, some automation, maybe with AI, maybe humans in the loop, right? And to find some anomalies. If there's a code of a library that's doing some code executions, and it shouldn't, logically, so someone should flag that. And you want it, like you said, in the coding agent, in the IDE, everywhere. It doesn't remove the need, of course, to have it in the CI/CD check runs. And actually, something I think we didn't talk about is that, so now when you do npm install in the CI/CD, companies should also, I think, ignore the pre-install and the post-install scripts, right?
So in this case, you could skip it. I don't know if you need it, but...
So there's a flag I can put, for example, in
ignore
npm.
Scripts, I think.
Yeah, okay. So to use the no scripts flag, right, to skip these installations. Now, of course, you need it to run, but you want to skip it when you install, then run a security scanner, right? You don't want to run the security scanner after the machine has been infected. And then you can run the npm install again with the script, and then you can do the next of the build system or tests or anything else you have.
Yeah.
This actually really complicates CI/CD, but looking forward. sounds like it's something that we all should adopt.
Yes, and also do it in isolated environments. We talked about the permissions you give to the workflow. So you can do it in a different job, in GitHub, for example, where it's running it in a different runner.
Yeah.
So let's say you create a runner, a job, isolated runner with really, really low permissions. Do it there and then continue with your workflow.
But it will slow my process, right? Because no one likes waiting for CI/CD.
Yeah.
And it means like this runner has to finish before I can do all the rest of the tests. This is complicating things, but it seems like it's something that we have to start adapting. And shift left, of course. I think, guys, that's it, and we can pass to the stage of questions. So please, if you didn't write questions so far, please write it, and we'll now look at it, and we can't answer all of them, but we'll try to answer most. Okay. So first question is, which AI agents can deal with these issues in the context of shift left, especially if the AI agents are already poisoned? So usually you're more afraid that the machine, right, will get infected, right? So with AI agents, you have also different kinds of risks, like prompt injection and takeover from other sources. I don't want to dive into that, but you need to have defense against these as well. But you want to make sure that when your AI agent is running, that it has some way to know which library to install. Maybe even block in the same machine if you have a private registry, for example, you can have like something installed on the private registry. So when the agent runs npm install, it won't be able to install that library?
Yeah, so instead of using, public registries where you don't have any governance on what's going there, you can use a private registry, for example, like a proxy, which your users and your CI/CD pipelines will install the packages from there. So you can do the scans there, and you can know that only safe artifacts are being saved there. You can do many integrations to make it secure and scan it.
Got it. Now, let's move to the next question. What was the intention behind this attack? Ransom? So first, that's a really good question. I think we don't really know who the attacker.
We don't know. We don't know, and don't know the reason. The secrets were exposed, publicly, and anyone can use them.
There was no ransom taken.
No.
And the data that got deleted either way. So it seems like it's not ransom, but maybe they used the data later to hack something and then to do some ransom. So it's hard to say. Sometimes also attackers like this, they steal information and they just sell it on the dark web. They can sell credit card, they sell like data, they sell access to other attackers that want to do something else with that.
Maybe it's a protest, I'm not sure, but you can say, I published everything for Dune, I don't know.
Maybe someone really liked the movie.
Or didn't like, I don't know.
Or didn't like. I guess they liked it because they actually made a campaign to like publish.
And I'm going to watch it after the webinar, so they got one more viewer.
Exactly. So maybe that was the goals of the hackers, but the true answer is that we don't know, and no one caught yet the people that did it. So it's hard to tell. So let's see also for the questions. Okay, so another question is, what should we do if we found out that our production AWS keys were stolen?
So that's awful, first of all. But you need to find out, you can use, for example, if it's specifically AWS, you could use CloudTrail and view all of the actions that this specific user did. Obviously, you need to rotate those keys. You need to check for every permission that it has. And you can use CloudTrail to view all of the actions that it did, because if you have enough retention, you can see everything. If it stores secrets, and if it stores secrets, you need to rotate them ASAP.
So you have to pre-enable it, right? Or is it enabled by default?
Not sure.
Okay. So check that you have Cloudtrail.
I think it's free for 90 days retention or something.
Got it. So yeah, like use Cloudtrail to
view audit. It's not specifically for AWS, but view the audit of the users or the keys that got compromised and fix it.
Yeah, and you need to also figure out, if you figured out that the attackers came to a different machine afterwards, right? You need maybe to clean that machine as well to be safe and to go on the safe side. Let's see if we have any more questions. Is there an open source solution to scan for malicious packages? So the answer is yes. There are many. You should definitely use them if you've been attacked. You should also find a solution where we'll tell you not only after it's a very known malicious package, but also before, and try to find the solutions that help you before, like it's known to everyone, to find out about it. Because sometimes if it's known 3 days later, it's too late. You already installed that library. Someone in the organization, you have 1,000 developers. So yeah. Let's check if there is any more questions. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. We're here from Mend.io. Of course, this is something we do as well, but there's a lot of solutions and a lot of things out there that you need to do when there's attack like that. We hope it won't happen to your company. Statistically, like we've seen from the second wave, it really might happen, so be prepared. Hopefully that was interesting. I learned what kind of pizza you like, which is the most important. You
should invite me for Dune and pizza.
Dune and pizza. Thank you, everyone, again. It was amazing. And have a great day, great week.
Keep safe. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Ben.